Hello and good
Hey,
evening, and welcome to The
the truth
Truth Behind
behind
the
the
Truth.
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 Woo.
Yes, indeed. It is a truthful night,
Yes, it
man. It's a truthful
is.
night. It's a truthful night. A lot of
Yes.
truth that needs to be talked about, which we're going to get in. Oops, I'm hitting my
Uh-oh.
hand. I'm
Nope.
getting excited, hitting my
I know,
hand.
right? Don't injure yourself in
I
doing
know,
the excitement now.
I
Come
know,
on.
right?
We need, hey,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
right now,
Exactly,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Yes.
So true.
Truth
Hit my
behind the
hand.
truth. Do not injure yourself.
Do not injure yourself. Exactly. Yeah, but as I said, we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So we are so grateful that you are here and taking out the time to
Yes.
spend with us and getting deep in this conversation. Because the
Mhm.
bottom line with us, okay, whatever perspective of life you come from, if you take at least 15 to 20 minutes out of each one of these shows, you'll change your life.
All
Okay,
right.
we are here to be able to do that. We have the brilliance. And I'm not just fluffing him. You know I ain't doing it. The brilliance of Sandy Hackett is on this show. Okay,
Yes.
this man is legendary in this city. Okay, his dad is legendary in this city. I grew up with his dad. Okay, my dad was a fan of his dad. And how I always said when we first met, I told him, I said, man, this is nothing but the universe pulling us together, because I would have never imagined.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That the legendary Sandy Hackett, a legendary Buddy Hackett, a son, would be a great friend of mine. And how life just does that and for all significant purposes.
Yeah.
I told him we're gonna change Hollywood. His dad did, so we're gonna do it too together. All right. But anyway,
All right.
so it's good to see you tonight, my brother. How you doing?
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good.
Thank you for the kind words. They're
Please.
unmerited, but thank you.
Well, it comes from my elbow, my hand, everywhere else, to throw it out there at you. But we're so glad to have you, definitely. But I want to remind everybody, number one, okay, to support us, okay, via your Cash App or Venmo, okay. So support us. Hey, we need that support because we want to take this to network television. So the more you spend, the more we can get there. All right. Also, want to remind you about getting your mug. Okay. The Truth Behind the Truth mugs are out there and they are available for you. Okay. Simply send an email to ttbttshow@gmail. Okay. Let's get tongue tied. ttbttshow@gmail. Request your mug, and we'll tell you how to go ahead and get it. Also, we have a little contest going on. With that contest, you can win a mug. Right. Simply email 10 likes and shares to the same email address. Okay, we'll review it, and if they're reputable, we'll definitely send you out a mug for the support and supporting us out there. So take advantage of both sides. You get one free, or you can buy one. Yes. Up to you. And we want you to buy them too, okay? Because of the family members and everywhere else, you can pass them on to spread the word as well. I trust everybody had a great week. We did. So how was your week going?
My work. Oh yeah, my work. But just to say it, my week has been great. I you know what? To be honest with you, I have now been making a transition from a job that I had did for a good 5 to 6 years into a new gig. I'm happy for the transition. It's something new, and I think this is something that I've told many people, and including you, I've told you this, that I've been praying for something totally new, and it's just something that needed to happen. But other than that, though, I feel blessed, and highly favored.
Good, excellent. I cannot complain about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything new in your world this week, Sandy? How's things going?
Yes, Sandy.
Nothing new in my world. I was on the road. I'm glad to be back. Dylan, what is your new job?
I will be an SR, let's just say an RSR for Frito-Lay at this point. But it's just something that it's like I was telling Jay, I've been working for CBS for a good time. And it was just something that needed to happen, needed a new change, needed a new outlook, needed something fresh.
And some more money.
And that too, with great benefits.
Right. Exactly.
But it's just, at this point in time, it's time for things to happen. And time is moving, life is short. Right. You got to do something. And the economy is doing what it's doing, and it's telling on all of us right now, because everybody's having to go through a shift these days. Even those who, it's so funny, we looking at the walkout. I was joking with somebody, there should be a walkout near you, because everybody's walking out. Yeah. Hollywood is walking out. Right. The automobile plants are walking out. You even got some oh my goodness, you even got some drugstores that are now walking out, but not here in LA yet, but they're out there in middle America.
Right.
But it's just not at this point. I think people are realizing that you have to now start switching things over, because stuff is not going to be given to you unless you go out and attack it. So you have to find opportunity where you can find opportunity.
Well, you know,
you have
to speak to that particular point, I think that we've come into a season where people are tired.
And that,
you know what I'm saying? I think that they're tired of the bureaucracy that comes with the corporate arena via whatever that may be to that person, be it, as you said, the drugstore, be it healthcare workers.
Yes.
You know, and everybody, I think people are moving to a place where they want their just due, you know, and
truth behind the truth.
Or truth behind the truth. And, you know, and so it's like, you know, you talk, okay. And then at the end of the day, when you're not getting response to your talk, you take action.
That's right.
You know, and so I applaud them for taking action. I mean, you know, you look at the auto workers, you look at all that. I mean, and I like to go to the fact of how inflamed that these CEOs' paychecks are, that they could literally pay, you know, at least a half of the plant, you know, salaries out of their, you know, off of their salaries. And you think about it, what is it that you have to make that kind of money for? You know, the CEO of Ford, 38 million. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me for giving you too much million. $28 million a year. What do you need $28 million a year for? You know, at the end of the day, to sit at a desk, to dictate everything, to keep filtering money for the downline people not to make any money. I don't know. And same way with Bob Geiser. You know, Bob, okay, hey, you can put us on ABC, but still the truth is that you make too much money, man. $24 million, okay, to run ABC and all the Disney products and, you know, whatever else the things that are out there. So, I mean, you know, the bottom line, spread the wealth around. All right. I mean, everybody works. I mean, without all these great actors and phenomenal writers, you would not have these shows that, you know, that are out there to be done. Well, same way with the automobile industry. If you wouldn't have these great automobiles that are coming out without the people that are working on the line. Spread the wealth around, people. Come on.
How do you feel about that, Sandy? About that?
Very interesting question. Sorry. The problem is that these people that make extraordinary amounts of money. So, and I don't disagree with you, but what would be a number that they should be entitled to earn?
Good point.
Good.
Well, you know,
so if it's not 20, is it 15? Is it 10? Is it 5?
Right.
Is it 2?
Right.
You know, where does the extravagance end? And then you take someone like Stephen Jobs, who's no longer with us, but created a company and created all these things. So now he's gone, but Tim is running the company and making a lot of money. But, you know, Apple creates things that didn't even used to exist on the planet. And you go, so that came from Steve. So does someone who created something and invented something, should they not be entitled to be rewarded? But what's fair, I don't know.
Well, no, I agree with you there. I think that they should be, if it's something that you created, you know, but you just got, I think the difference is when you get hired into a position, you haven't created anything, you just took over with somebody else, you know, and then I think just the recognizing of the people that work for the company, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like, well, let's just bring up the fact, I'm going to reverse that question. So what do you think that Bob, well, anyway, I will say that, but of Disney and ABC and all, do you think that that's a salary that should be $24 million for that salary?
No, I think that's high, but I don't know what the number should be. I don't know what the whole structure is for executives. I mean, Disney's been notorious over the years for being a company that didn't pay particularly well, especially to its artists. My dad worked for them, wasn't paid particularly well. Robin Williams was not happy with them. You know, and there's other people that say Disney didn't treat me well, so then they buy ABC and all these other things. But I don't know what fair is, because when you're sitting there going, I'm the guy at the top that's authorizing all this, and we have great success because we did a good job casting, we did a good job writing. When Robin did Aladdin, and we picked Robin to be the genie, but the movie was a big success. How much of a part of that should be? Then you look at artists like the whole MCU universe, the Marvel universe, and you go, you know, some of these guys are getting $40 million for a film, and I go, and they've now priced themselves out of work to where they said, okay, now we can't make the film anymore.
Right.
And, but then you take someone like James Cameron, who does, what was the Avatar,
Titanic.
But he spent all his own money, mortgaged everything he had, and reinvested everything in himself. So whatever he gets, I can't complain with that. And he paid people enough that they wanted to come work for him. I don't know if they feel they got paid fair or not, but they weren't investing their money into the project.
Right.
So it's a tough call. And then you take professional athletes who make exorbitant amounts of money. But what the players' unions did is, especially in basketball, they said, we're going to be partners with the owners. We're going to get our 50%, you're going to get 50%. But what I don't understand is how you have a league and a team that makes X amount of dollars and has to spend X amount of dollars on salary, and then is allowed to spend more. But if you spend too much more, then you get taxed. You pay a luxury tax. And I go, why don't you just say, look, every team has a budget. It's X amount of millions of dollars. This year it's 124 million. Next year it's 135 million. And you go, that's it. You have to figure out your salaries in there, because these guys aren't going to be able to move laterally when everybody's got the same budget. But when you say, this guy, and then when an athlete, he got all-star and he was voted #1 on the team and all this, and now he gets an opportunity to get a big bump in his salary. So 200 million, Steph Curry, and Steph is amazing what he's done for the league, and LeBron and Kevin and guys like that, but they're making 30, 40, 50 million. And, it takes me back to Chris Rock's joke when he's, people say Shaquille O'Neal is rich. And he goes, no, the white guy paying him $100 million a year, that's rich.
But it goes back to that same favor is not fair.
Right.
But we work at, but we only got 2 minutes left. But it just goes back to that, and the fact that we work for a system that is not always fair to the working man.
Right.
That's why it's so important to always understand that when you are working these jobs, whatever industry that you're in, do not put too much stock into them, but also invest in what you got going on.
That's true. That's so true.
I was reading an article the other day, and just what you're doing. You changed jobs from one company to another and moved across, but got more pay because the new place valued your experience and who you are. But if you stay in the same place, they go, if you'll work for this, we're going to let you.
Right, exactly. Well, we got to go get ready for a quick break. But as we go to break, we want to take a moment to remember another icon, in the film industry that transitioned this week. And I had the opportunity, and after we come from the break, we can share our personal experiences with him. But we want to celebrate the life of Richard Roundtree. So as we go to break, we want to take a break and celebrate his life for a moment, and then we'll be back and we'll talk a little bit more about him. And then we also lost another brilliant actor today, which we'll mention about Mr. Matthew Perry when we come back from break as well. All right, so we'll be right back. We'll be right back after this quick break. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Want to mention all of our disclaimers once again to you. All right, your support, definitely. Please do so at TTBTT show as far as our Cash App is concerned, and then for our Venmo, it is The Truth Behind the Truth for our Venmo account as well. All right, and get your wonderful. Where's my mug? There it is. Okay, get your mug. All right, just send an email to ttbttshow@gmail. All right. And then just put in that you're requesting a mug, and we will make connection with you to get that mug out to you. All right.
And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you are watching us on YouTube.
Exactly.
For that disclaimer. But keep moving.
So
okay.
So that now that we've transitioned, okay, we're actually in the mode of entertainment. So we want to elaborate on our personal experiences. I know Sandy had one with Richard Roundtree, and then we'll talk about Matthew Perry. And then I want to celebrate Wicked, as well. I didn't give our engineer about Wicked, but I'll talk about that in a minute as well. Remakes.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, excuse me. So for me, Richard Roundtree, I mean, I would, a lot of people that I have worked with this in this industry, I would have never imagined in younger life that I would have had the opportunity to do that. So I've really been honored, and I would say blessed to be around so many different, or work with a lot of actors that I admired, throughout the course of my growing up and whatever the case may be. So I've been blessed to be, in their company and to spend time with them. As I mentioned, Danny Glover is a great friend of mine, and of course he's been on the show. We're working on trying to get him back on again. But about Richard Roundtree, I met Richard Roundtree in Atlanta, and I was actually his stand-in for when he was on Being Mary Jane. And the engagement with him was such a rich moment. He had some rich conversations. He loved his cigars. And every morning that we'd be on set, and first thing, and he'd yell my name out across the set or whatever the case may be. But he was a lot of fun and a lot of wisdom that came from him, and just being able to spend time with a legend and an icon that has paved the way, typically for a lot of actors, a lot of African American actors frame their life or their position in this industry around what he did, at Shaft and all of the litany of work that he has done, So we salute, Richard Roundtree, tonight. Sandy, go ahead. I know you had something you wanted to share with him as well.
No, I knew him and got to play basketball with him when I was, young in my teens, and he was on a celebrity basketball team that they would let me play with them, and all the guys would call him Tree, and he was just a sweetheart of a guy and a lot of fun. But when you honor a guy, you want to go back. So he's 80-something years old. He had a hell of a life. He had a hell of a career. But go back to when he made Shaft, and even I think a few films before that, one of the first African American actors to have a leading role in a film. So he was groundbreaking in many ways, and showed that a African American actor could carry a film and be the leading character and create a franchise. So kudos to him. He came along at the right time. He was a good-looking guy, and he was cool, and he was fun, and and he did well for himself.
Yes, he did.
It was considered one of the first Black action figures, which kind of got me by surprise, because I always thought of Shaft as just a detective, but not an action figure.
It was a very action film.
It was. But it's that's the shoulders that those who are now in Marvel, when you think about Black Panther and all those films, those are the shoulders that you stand on. And thank God that there were certain, people like Cicely Tyson, Richard Roundtree, Diane Carroll, Harry Belafonte, Dorothy Dandridge, and the list goes on. Those people opened up a lot of doors. Just like Sandy said it, it's always within, just to say this, in the film industry, it was kind of taboo to see something of that nature, to have a Black action figure. You would have thought at that time O.J. Simpson was the action figure. Well, come to realize he was something else. But that is just, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yes, what a legacy to have left behind for American culture, American art, and plus for somebody who stood up for a whole lot of people. Absolutely.
So as we were getting prepared for the show today, or tonight, this evening, this afternoon, we did another wonderful actor made a transition today as well, which is Matthew Perry. Really, this is a shocker, at the end of the day, because you just never would have expected this, to happen at this point. But that's just never expected, at the end of the day, when it comes about. But another great actor in a litany of work, most of you probably remember him from Friends.
Oh yeah.
That and his longevity in that particular arena. His transition was, I have to say allegedly, because it's not confirmed, but he was supposed to have drowned today. They're not sure exactly. that it took place. But we lost him today. So he's among that cloud of witnesses that are out there that are a host from the Judy Garlands to the Doris Days to, and the list goes on of actors that we have, Buddy Hackett's and, those that, that are out there looking back.
In his own right.
Exactly.
But I would say
that club of legends.
Yeah, but I would say it's a shocker.
Yes.
But I would definitely would say that his film, and I told y'all this before the show, that I just love When Fools Rush In.
Okay, yes,
that was my favorite rom-com during the 90s. I love that film. So that what got me noticing his craft.
Yes.
I didn't follow him as much as an actor. I hate that I didn't. But on that though, it is what it is. I just love that picture. Yes.
Sandy, you want to add something to?
You mentioned a bunch of actors there, but a lot of them lived a long time. And like Richard Roundtree, at 81 or 82, 54 is young. And you hate to see that, but and I don't know much about Matthew. His troubled life, or alcohol and drugs is out there. He's talked about it, but I don't know much about it, what his demons were. And we don't know if that added to what happened today or it was just a freak accident. But, a talented guy, and you hate to lose people. But this is the life process. It just keeps marching along, whether we're here or not.
That's true.
But it goes back to what we talked about.
That is not Matthew Perry.
I know, right?
You know that guy.
But you know what? It goes back to what we talked about trauma in the last show. We don't know what's going on with people when they are going through this thing called life.
Right.
Life throws you some hurdles. But if you have issues, please
get help.
By all means, talk to somebody, seek therapy. If you can't talk to family, get a close friend and have a conversation with that friend.
I want to dig into what you're talking about because I want to close out this part by a little entertainment. So I do want to send celebration to the original cast, but now the current cast and the cast of Wicked. This is the 20th anniversary for the Broadway show Wicked. Phenomenal show. I mean, I've seen it 4 times, all right, and I can't wait till the movie comes out next Christmas. Okay, so I wanted to send celebration out to Dina Menzel, Christian Chenoweth, and the original cast and how brilliant and what they have set in terms of so many others to follow along, in that. And one of the good things about this show they did earlier this year, was the first show that actually allowed an African American girl to play Glenda. So they were talking about how the Broadway League, accepted the change and whatever, because in casting they cast people for color for whatever reasons, but they pushed the envelope. And she was the first, and they had interviewed her about that, and she got standing ovations every night, for her taking on the role of Glenda, and so they celebrate her, and I can't remember her name, and I apologize for that. But anyway, again, want to celebrate Wicked for 20 years of success and more to come, and that from the Broadway side, phenomenal show. If you have not seen it, I totally encourage you to go see it. It's the story before Oz. Okay, and you can imagine how wonderful that is if you're a fan of Wizard of Oz or The Wiz. It's the story before that. Okay, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
but I want to ask Sandy, how do you feel about remakes?
Well, what are you talking about? Because Wicked's not a remake; it's an original work based, what the story of what happened in Oz before
Oz,
before Dark.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't even know that. But it's so funny nowadays. You hear a lot of people who go to films, and we just had some films. We just saw some for the past few years. We had West Side Story. We have now Wiz is coming back out on Broadway. But it's just the notion that remake. No, The Color Purple. That's why I wanted The Color Purple. But it's just stuff like that makes people cringe at wanting to go see these films because they don't like remakes.
Well, I think that we're in a
knowing that this is not a remake.
Knowing
that this is not a remake.
Well, I think that we have such a different mindset in society today at time. This group of people. Number one, three of us are artsy individuals. So, we're going to gravitate toward arts. It's a part of, Sandy's growing up. It's a part of, I will say part of my growing up. It's a part of your growing up. Mm-hmm. So our appreciation, I think, is on such a different level than a lot of people that are out there now, So even the questions you mentioned about the color purple, I think that I'm sure Oprah is sitting on pins and needles. I mean, I'm sure Steven Spielberg is sitting on pins and needles to see what the response for people that don't understand movie musicals, number one.
Yes.
And me, myself, you can bring movie musicals back all the time. I love them, but there's a group of people that don't know how to appreciate that, don't know how to understand the essence of that. Let me say this one point about movie musicals. The thing that I don't understand is how we got to a place, a society that we don't appreciate movie musicals, because you watch videos. You watch music videos. I mean, from 1977 all the way up, and they still coming out now. You sit down and watch. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. You're telling a story through music.
Yeah.
So I don't understand where this big. Oh my God, I can't stand musicals. But then hey. And the greatest, and we're celebrating the 40th years of Michael Jackson's Thriller is the 40th year. Okay, Thriller was a movie musical when it was put out, and it changed the industry in terms of what was available, at that time and moving forward. So I'm saying to these people that don't understand, hey, come on, y'all get on board with this, okay? You do it anyway. You don't know it unwillingly, I guess is the point I'm trying to make out of this. But I don't know. What do you think, Sam?
Well, for the people that don't like it, the problem is our attention spans have diminished to almost nothing. Okay. With social media, and everybody's got a camera with, a phone with a camera that's extraordinary, and everybody's putting content out there. And some people put in, god awful content, and other people put out extraordinary content. And the studio film that has unbelievable amount of work that goes behind it. If you got a bad script and you put something out bad, musical or not musical, or remake or not remake, look, a great film was a great film. And when you get it right, people gravitate to it. When Tom Cruise came out with Maverick last year, and everybody went, wow. But then he comes out with the Mission Impossible, and it's not as and is that a remake? No, it's a series, but somehow that one doesn't hold. But it's just the people. We don't know, but you can't stop anybody from wanting to make a remake or try something or reinvent it. I mean, for the people that come along, what someday they're going to totally redo not The Wiz, which is a remake of the black version of the Wizard of Oz. They're going to redo the Wizard of Oz. And they tried to redo Willy Wonka.
That is coming out. Yeah, that is coming out.
No, that's a third one coming out. But they did one in another one in the middle, and now they're doing the Wonka. What the story of Wonka?
Prequel.
Right.
Everything is a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Like Wicked.
And my wife is. And Wicked is a prequel. So I just don't know what you say to these things. And does my opinion matter? Does your opinion matter? Everybody's going to watch and decide what they want. Oh, I didn't like it. Everybody wants to be so esoteric. And I go spend $100 million and pray that this is what it's going to be something wonderful. And then you take something.
My opinion matters.
My opinion matters.
Put it on camera.
Put it on camera.
Come in here, Lisa. They want to say hello.
Yes.
She says she's not dressed for the truth behind the truth.
Yes.
But no, right? Yeah, it definitely is.
That is true.
I know we got to get ready for a break. We want to dig in and maybe start a little bit of conversation about
next week.
Okay. About this new guy that's the Speaker of the House.
We want to
the disappointment, and just kind of dig into him. Maybe Sam, you want to touch on it briefly, and then we'll pick it up more after we come back.
Come on, if you wanted a racist, bigot, homophobe, as the Speaker of the House, you have got your man.
Yes.
Who didn't want that in that chair?
Yeah, exactly. I mean. I don't know what they think that they're going to accomplish by this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because you're talking about a blinking war. I won't say the word I want to say, but a blinking war before. You can imagine when the legislation really starts getting together and trying to combat with this, trying to get shit done. They ain't gonna get nothing done. They might as well go ahead and close the government because they're not going to agree on it.
And I'm not trying to throw off on people who pray, but nothing will get done until they pray first.
Okay,
because he made it known that it is nothing's not going to go through unless they pray on it. So there is no checks and balances, and there is no separation from church and state anymore, because now they have put God in the midst. And I'm so sorry for those who are Buddhists out here in these streets, or who believe in Confucius and whatever you believe in. But now God reigns over the laws right now. And I hate to say it, but that's what he said in his speech.
Yes,
he is a Christian.
He made it known.
And you know, don't you think God's up there going, could you people leave me alone? I'm trying to get a nap.
Okay. Exactly.
True behind the truth.
Behind that. And on that note, we'll be right back with more discussion. All right, and we're back. Yes, indeed.
There's another perspective on the homosexual lifestyle, which many people believe is morally wrong and physically dangerous.
Wow.
Woo!
Boy.
And didn't even put racism in the midst. They didn't even put any type of other stuff, terrorists, Christo-fascists, and all that stuff. He only thought about the LGBT side of it.
I mean, you know, so that tells me that either he has had a struggle in his own individual life, or he knows about somebody that he wants to keep covered up in his family. But the truth behind the truth, that it will come out.
Anti-Semitism, no racism, no massage, none of that
needs to be
popped up on that.
You know, I just, you know, again, I know we kind of dialogue back and forth on the show about how we feel like these people just get voted in, or where do they come from? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it makes me surprised that they're more like him. That could be, you know, making their way down the you know, to this particular level of platform. But it's just sad, you know. And this right here,
that's a picture that's named. That's a picture that's called "If God Won't Do It, It Just Won't Get Done." That is what this picture should be called. If God won't do it, just won't get done. Oh my God! Look at that. And where's the black people in that picture?
No, but
Where's America?
you got wait a minute, funny part, you got the number one person that's all.
Put that
all
picture
the
back up,
accusations.
Charles. Put
Please,
that picture back up.
Right there in the center of the back, you got the number one problem in the whole. Right
What?
back.
Oh Lord, he a liar too.
The liar, the cheater, the scammer.
Is he black? No, he ain't black. Okay, then you can take it down now. I was trying my best. I was trying my best. That black people are cleaning. Oh wow! Wow! Okay, Sandy.
You know what? I can fix that picture. Go back to the picture and let's put a different caption with it.
Okay.
This people just found out that. Let's have a moment of silence for Matthew Perry and Richard Roundtree.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. That's better.
Yeah, from these white racist bastards, I don't think so.
No, not at all. But
where do these voters come from? They come from hamlets called Forsyth County, Georgia. They come from places called certain hole in the wall places that are so incubated from progressive thinking people that they don't see it for themselves to move with the times. They don't change. So you do get people like Mike Johnson from the 4th District of Louisiana, who comes from out of we never heard of him from anywhere. He has never showed up, but we know that he believes in Trump.
Right.
Well, he actually has showed up quite a bit. He's somehow managed to fly under the radar. But this is a guy that put together for the January 6th. He put together a whole thing trying to keep the voting from happening. He was the organizer. He's an attorney. He tried to write this stuff and get it out there, and it got thrown out of court. But he's a, and then that quote that you put up before about the homosexuality, that some people are offended by it morally, and I understand that exists in the world. But that when you want to call it dangerous, I go, what's dangerous? Where's the danger?
Right.
What is the dangerous?
Yeah, and the thing
that you might open your closet, Mike Johnson, and pull out a dress.
Basically.
I mean, we already know that people like that who hated gays, like J. Edgar Hoover, love to put on stockings and heels. I mean,
let's not even take it off the gay. I mean, you got Matt Skates down in Florida that is a known pedophile. Okay, already trying to dodge from going to court. I mean, so you're saying that a pedophile is okay? Basically, at the end of the day, I mean, come on. I mean, and then the litany of them that are in Congress. Okay, I mean, the truth behind the truth. I mean, I had one of my good friends no longer on the planet with us, but he was a page in Washington while he was in school. He told me about the approaches and the financial position that these congressmen were trying to put him in.
Wow.
In compromising positions,
wow.
right there in Washington. Now some of them I'm sure they're not in position now, but it did happen. If it happened, it's still happening now. So the behavior is one thing, and I know this kind of takes us in. I didn't want to shift to a little bit about trauma, because there's another area I want to talk about before we get into our trauma tonight, but. This same behavior, and I'm going to roll it into something a little bit different with this, is that I wanted to start with not a series, but a series of conversations where I personally, for now, I mean, you guys will be able to share that, is how the hip hop community has, in my opinion, destroyed greater portions of the Black community. Okay. And the reason is because of these behaviors that are coming out. Okay, I am yet to find out and understand how you feel it's acceptable to call your women. I'm speaking of Black. Well, hey, it is not even just a race thing because it's happening on both sides. But I'm speaking from the African American standpoint at this point. How do you feel okay to call your woman a bitch? Where do you feel like that is okay? Period. At the end of the day, how do you feel it's okay women to call each other bitches? Okay, where does this arrive from? Do you understand what a bitch is? It's a female dog that cannot produce in a litter. Okay, so how do you lower your standards of life? You're supposed to be queens. Okay, queens on both sides. Hey, you're supposed to be represented as a queen, but you lowered your standard. And men, you have allowed yourself to lower your standard at that point. So where it comes from is that how you view yourself. Why isn't the trauma in your life been passed on someone else's life? You see, and I'm sorry for you if you saw your mom in a wrong position as you grew up. Okay. However, that has created a trauma for you. So therefore, you saw your mom, just using an example, you saw your mom in a wrong position growing up, and then you formulate it, but it becomes a trauma that you need to address. But that trauma is being impacted on so many other people's lives.
But that's attached to what's going on with the political situation that we're now dealing with at this point. We have a man that is now running for president, and he's in court.
King of trauma. But go ahead.
He's in court now.
Right.
So the thing about it is, though, with that being said about this genre of music, the hip hop community, what I come to the realization about this is that a lot of these young folks, and especially those who do listen to that type of stuff, who do listen to that type of music, they are clouding for this man to win. Because of the fact that because he has went against the grain in his business tactics, and for some strange reason, I must have been the only one who lived during the pandemic who believed that this man was just not passing out stimulus checks. He did not want to give out stimulus checks. Trump did not even want to say that we were going through a COVID situation. So for some strange reason, we have people within that genre of music who is spreading these lies about the fact that he is going to help those get jobs who don't have jobs, help them get their money who don't have money. And plus, Trump is one of us because this man understands how it is to be underneath the legal system, which I don't understand. Why would you even put that out there for that to be cool? You would want your president to want to go to jail or want to be in jail, not to have to. I'm just saying. Sandy, take it over.
What do you want me to take over?
You know what?
I'm not familiar with hip hop music. It's not what I listen to. And so if the artists there are calling women whatever they're calling, but then there are female artists that are calling the men whatever, there's been a loss of respect on both sides. But then you get to a place where, I see a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Lauren Boebert, and I go, I think calling them a bitch is a compliment compared to what I think they are. So I don't know how you avoid
transition from that, right?
At some point you got to call someone what they are, and
but I guess in the note of and I understand your point because they act accordingly, so I do get that part of it. But I think that what I'm saying here is that this has become something that this group of people that not in not in a representation fact. This has become more of an endearment. Or a sisterhood or something along the lines of this versus to, looking at it from the perspective that you're presenting. But anyway, I'm going to let you say, Paul, I want to bring this, before you bring this video up real quick about how Harry Belafonte and Diane Carroll saw what this was happening typically to the African-American community. So Charles, if you want to run it real quick.
It's a backlash from the civil rights movement and from the movement. We never followed that through. We were supposed to be free, and this dream never came true. And I think the kids are defying that they're angry about it. That we didn't make it the way it should be.
There's that. We marched, we got hosed, we got bit by dogs, and where are we?
I just think that
I think those slick white people up in the boardroom iced us again.
Yeah, I can believe that too.
And put something on the table that was so seductive and so hard to resist. Look, when I hung out up in the South Bronx with Africa Bambaataa and Melly Mel and watched the dawning of the hip hop culture, it brought to me a profound sense of a wonderful thing that was in our future. This was an articulation that was just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and then it came
all of a sudden one day somebody came up and jingled 30 pieces of silver. And all of a sudden many began and that institution of rape and profiting stepped in and corrupted and turned that thing into another being.
Now, I must ask you, are you saying that the white music community understood that there was a place for this music, and they directed these young Black people?
Not the white music community, the white banking community.
I don't even know if it's the power structure that directed it, much as the understructure, right? The teenagers who mostly buy the music said, hey, we like that Black Buck. We like the guy who's going to be shooting everybody.
No abstract. It's how you were marketed. It's how your brain was washed. Yeah. The market is dictated by those who want the market to go where they take it. And we follow. Mm-hmm. And it's always been that way. White people, black people, we go to war. We are in Iraq because it's marketed that way. And we are struggling with our souls to try to find an answer for something that is absolutely immoral. And we don't know how to grapple with it because we have bought into that. And I think that we have to face that fact and then deal with it from that perspective.
And I want to add this on to this as well. Marketing, yes. Marketing, the type of marketing I think Belafonte was talking about goes back to the fact that this is what allows people like Mike Johnson to gain power. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, when you have that type of marketing where you're dangling stuff like that over somebody's head all day, every day, and I say that as those things are distractions. Those things are they are distractions to the fact that we have now somebody who's the Speaker of the House, who is running things not for the purpose of the American people, but for the purpose of an agenda. But that right there is the problem with the youth that is of my age who don't go out and that don't vote. They do not vote because they have that marketing tool all day, every day in their face. And that is very dangerous because now there is somebody in the House who now has the power to cut that marketing off if he wanted to. And I'm just saying it's so important that we need to understand that right there, hip hop and whatever that you are attuned to is such a distraction. You need to understand that there are people in power right now that are wanting to take that away because that is what they're trying to do. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, to your point, Sandy, I mean, and you can elaborate on this. And I love how you so eloquently brought that in. You know, voting is the key to all of this. You know, at the end of the day, and I don't think that the general portion still yet, as much as that it has mentioned, like they mentioned in that conversation about what civil rights went through to prevent, to stop, whatever the case may be, voting was a very key element in those changes coming about. And I don't think the message has been very clear about the need to vote. So if we've got the hip hop community per se, the ones that want to do something right, then the message should be very clear about getting out and voting to do so that we don't have the people like the Mike Johnsons in offices and the ones that could follow. And then, you know, God forbid the orange man, you know, to be a part of that, be a part of that community. Now, one person I'm going to pick up that, and I have to, you know, give, you know, credence to Taylor Swift for what she did at the end of her one of her recent concerts, because she told them during the concert, y'all need to register to vote. Yeah. And one of the most highest record days of signing up new votes was that particular. Over 30,000 young people, or I guess mixed people together, signed up to vote. So we need more pledges like that. So what I'm saying is that hip hop community, I'm gonna get on y'all ass, okay? And I ain't through yet. Okay, but y'all need to start reframing what you put out here to support the communities by and large. Because if you don't help the young people, it's going to be a problem. Okay, and we're going to be a repeat cycle of what we're seeing right now. Okay, but Sandy, go ahead. I know we just got a few minutes.
There's so many places to jump in here, but I'll go back to this Mike Johnson for a moment, and you go, he's adopted a black kid.
Yeah,
I'm not black, but I look at this guy and go, from your point of view of politics and racism, why would you go out and why would you adopt a black child? And two, who would let you? And then you got Amy Coney Barrett, who's a Supreme Court justice who has a black child, and you guys are black. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, it's one thing if they were all inclusive and stuff like that, and you go, this is what we want to do and our family. But I only wonder what goes on in that household and what that young black man is being educated to believe in.
And I have never seen this person either. It's been reported that he has adopted a black child, but I call him the invisible black child because I don't even see him in the family portraits.
Well, here's the thing. This is supporting, but a shift in the conversation too. See, this type of situation to me, okay, this is where he's going to try to factor in his Christian morals. So it's the opportunity to find a child in a a dysfunctional situation. So my Christian morals will make sure that I, if I have the opportunity, I'm gonna bring them in because I'm doing the Christian thing. Okay, so this is probably his thought pattern, Sandy. In doing this, and call me Barrett. Miss whatever. That's a whole other story there. Get off.
Probably hip hop told him to get another child, a black child. I don't know.
You don't know.
But one thing I do know for sure: if we don't get involved in what's going on in our country, nation's capital, state house, local house, mayor's house, I don't care. If you are listening to that genre, any genre, understand that is not the be all to the end all.
No.
We have more. There is more to life than that hip hop or whatever you listen to. Get out and do what is necessary for your life and vote.
Right.
All right. If you don't vote, get engaged,
Right.
Get involved,
Right.
Do something.
Right.
Just not sit here and let somebody tell you that you must go to church and pray if that's not what you do in your everyday life. I'm not going to police my beliefs on Sandy, knowing that Sandy has a different belief.
Right.
That's just wrong, and that needs to be that really needs to be looked at honestly,
Right.
Because I think we're going more into an what they call a totalitarian situation. That I'm just saying.
And look, I would be remiss if we leave this out this week, but in Maine they had that shooting, 18 people killed.
I was going to end with that, but go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry to take that away from you, but this Mike Johnson, he was at a conference where they were at a gun rights conference, right. And his answer is no, we've got to protect gun rights. And I go, I just don't get it. I don't understand people saying I need the right to have an AK-47.
See. I know we make light of the situation back and forth, and I think you mentioned it last time on last show. I have to say that somehow the Jim Jones syndrome is just really, and that's what I'm gonna start calling it now. I'm gonna just put that out there as a disclaimer, calling it the Jim Jones syndrome, because for whatever the hell people are drinking. I'm sorry, I don't understand. So I'm gonna call it the Jim Jones syndrome. Okay, these people have moved over to a Jim Jones syndrome. Yeah. To the point that you're making about having a debate when you got was it 18 people that just got shot? In Maine, 18.
Yeah. 18.
For a guy that in
18 killed, another 13 or 14, injured.
And then you want to have a debate over a gun? At the end of the day, there should not be any debate. But here we go. It's the Jim Jones syndrome, that's out there. And these people are just, they're walking zombies. They're walking zombies in Congress, and they're feeding off of the lives of the people. Yeah. That's it. I'm serious. You can call it the Walking Dead too. They're feeding off the lives of the people.
But you also have to take into consideration that this man who is of the faith don't believe in mental wellness, nor do believe that it even exists, or mental illness exists, or PTSD exists.
Well,
this man who went and did all of this killing and shooting, they knew, because he even forewarned that he wanted to shoot up an army base. Right. They didn't do nothing about it. Right. It didn't register until he just started going out there and started shooting random people. But this man, Mike Johnson, don't believe that. Hey, if he's talking about protecting guns, he's not talking about protecting it from people who have PTSD. Right. He thinks, as an American, it is your right, PTSD or not. You should have a gun, and I'm going to pray for you to have your gun.
Right.
And that's dangerous. It's so dangerous. But we have a country that's numb to this type of stuff. They're numb to violence.
What was that picture? It looked like a bunch of Republicans looking for bullets for their guns.
It probably was.
In the middle.
Right here.
In the middle. Yeah.
I don't want to. I do want to, but I don't want to in certain aspects of it. I don't want to knock people for their level of faith. Okay, but faith and religion is two different things. And I've said it on the show I have a mountain of faith. Donald has a mountain. Sandy, you have a mountain of faith. We move out on faith every day. We sit down in a chair on faith. We start our car on faith. We go to the refrigerator and get milk on faith. You know what I'm saying? So, but what this confusion has been is that these evangelical people, and I won't even call them because
Christo-fascists.
Yeah, exactly. They have so saturated America with the scare tactic of not believing in what they want to believe in, that now people don't know who they are. You know, you've got a group of people that always want to bring religion or religious beliefs into a system and then bring the hell factor into it. If you don't believe it the way that I believe, then you're subject to expend eternity in a burning fire because you didn't see it the way that I saw it. So what you've done, you've interjected this type of fear on top of everything else into people, created another level of major trauma, okay, that people don't know who they are. Now we've got the Jim Jones syndrome. Okay. Now we've got the Jim Jones syndrome. So at any given point, somebody will say to you, if you're in that realm of thinking, here, take this Kool-Aid. Okay, take this Kool-Aid, go find you a spot, sit down, drink it, and die.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? And die. You know, so what we're going to try to do here, and thank you for that, Sandy, in our meetings and stuff, that we're going to be having strong conversations and direct to you, okay, our audience, okay, dealing with the truth behind the truth, exposure, okay, bringing these, and hopefully we'll get these people on the show to talk to them, okay, because I want to know what the fuck is wrong with a racist. I want to know why. I want to know why you have been part of the Jim Jones syndrome. Who told you to go and drink that damn Kool-Aid that you can't see black, you can only see black problems or Hispanic problems or Jewish problems? You know, then at the end of the day, truth be known, you're the fucking problem. Okay, you're the problem, you know, and it's your trauma that you keep pushing off on other people's lives, but you want to kill everybody, okay, one way or the other, by your words or by your actions, okay, legislatively and non-legislatively. It's still a way of you trying to kill somebody. It needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed head on, okay? Come to you straight to your fucking face and say it, okay? Yes, I said it. I said it that way for a reason, for a shock value. So Christians, get over it. All right, but anyway, that's my point. I'm saying that I know we got to wrap, but go ahead and let you get your point.
I agree with you, and you know, so many things unsaid. But Mike Pence stepped down, and here's a guy who's a Christian who no one cared what he had to say, you know. And if you want to believe, God, but and no one cared what Mike Pence had to say. He was a boring, pathetic soul. And he wasn't going to ever be president, and he was perfect person to be vice president and do nothing. God help us if he became president. But the only thing he did right was when he kept, you know, on January 6th, when he said, no, I'm not going to change the outcome of this election. So
if the mainstream media would just start holding these people accountable and start calling them traitors. Because anybody who wants to overthrow a government, I don't consider them a patriot. I consider them a traitor. If their mainstream media would start calling them traitors, then there would be some change in the way we look at these people. But until then, people they're not going to change their outlook because some of these folks think that these people are patriots.
Right, it's true. But again, it goes back to what I was saying. It's this Jim Jones syndrome. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, it is. It really, because how can you sit back and justify it? And you mentioned January, sit back and justify, and you're watching it clearly on TV, right?
JB, I was just going to say, if you're out there and you want to drink the Kool-Aid, make sure you have your truth behind the truth mug to put it in.
Yes, thank you. $15.99. Christmas is on the way, and Hanukkah, and everything.
We can help you buy the mug and fill it up.
Buy the mug, please.
At
least you will be dying with the truth. We don't want you to die with a lie. Die with the truth. Okay?
Behind the truth. Yes,
absolutely.
That is the truth behind the truth. All right, guys, it has been a great night. Seriously, a really, really great night. And like I said, the challenge is being made, and I'm challenging you. Look, pass the word out there. I don't care who you send this video to, because they need to come. You write me, give me a damn email, because I'm gonna come at you about it, because I want to see you change. I want to see your hearts change. I want to see your damn minds change. Okay, I want to see you not drink the Kool-Aid, but yet still find the truth behind the truth.
Educate yourself. Find out the truth. We frozen? What happened to you guys? You guys froze. Must have had too much Kool-Aid. Must have had frozen Kool-Aid. All right, this is Sandy Hackett. I guess someone's got to wrap up the show. Looks like it'll be me. This is The Truth Behind the Truth. We'll be back next week with more topics, more show. And Atlanta's telling me, say goodnight, Sandy. Good night, Sandy.